Okay. So in today's session, we are going to see introduction to MDG. So what is MDG and what is master data and what are the advantages of MDG? Since many of you are already aware, so this is for the folks who are not aware of what is MDG at all. And we will see what is the architecture of MDG and what are the various deployment options in MDG and what are the various out of the box applications available in MDG and what is basically the core principle of MDG is nothing but the governance process, and we are going to see a simple governance process flow, how the governance process will be in MDG, as well as how a user can interact with the MDG applications, what are the various user interfaces available, and also we will see business processes in MDG. This is the first unit and not the agenda of today's session. Today we will see as much as we can. Okay, let's get started. First we'll see what is master data and what is master data management. So before going to the actual slide, let me take you an example. Okay, so many of you must be aware of Amazon portal as well as Flipkart, and we have various e-commerce portal, eBay, etc. Okay, so now when we are purchasing some product either in Amazon or Flipkart or eBay or any e-commerce portal, so what are the things primarily we see about the product? So what is the category of the product and what is the brand, and especially we see the price and various features of the product, okay, such as warranty, and if there are any return options available, and what are the basic qualities. Okay, like for example, if I'm purchasing a laptop, so for laptop, what are the features we see? What is the RAM, what is the hard disk or SSD storage space, and what is the processor and what is the speed and which generation of the processor, and we see the price and we choose the brand, whether it is Apple or Lenovo or Dell or whatever it is, and category would be the laptop. So here we are talking about laptop. Okay, so this is a generalized category. Laptop is a generalized category, but we can further segregate that based on the brand: Dell, Lenovo, Apple, HP, etc. But again, even in Dell also we can further segregate. We have the various more versions: Dell Inspiron, Dell XPS, etc. Even in Lenovo we have ThinkPad, and in ThinkPad we have different variants: T450, T470, and Lenovo we have IdeaPad. In IdeaPad again we have the various variants. And again, if you want to further segregate, even in ThinkPad based on the RAM processor, we can choose the relevant laptop required. So here, whatever the basic details that are available for a laptop, those are the key information about the product. Let's say the laptop actual price is 50,000 rupees INR. Okay, and due to some technical issues or whatever it might be, the price has been updated as 30,000 rather 50,000. So now let's say It's Amazon. Okay. The category is laptop, and we are looking into the price. And now let's say we have one customer for this product. So what is the loss to Amazon or to the seller? 20,000. Let's say customer count increased to 100. So what might be the loss? It would be 20 lakhs. If it increases to 1,000, then loss will be more. So with a small error in the pricing, so either Amazon or the seller, mostly the seller will face this much of loss. Okay. So this is the key information that has to be maintained or monitored for the product. So this is nothing but the master data. So if there is any error in the master data, either in the maintenance or initial update, whatever, wherever it is, so there will be a huge loss to the concerned organization or concerned parties. So we have to be very careful while maintaining the master data of any product or any item or whatever it is. Okay. So this is the key role of the master data. This is the master data, and I don't say that customer purchases this product and the customer details, transaction details will be there. Those are not considered as the master data. That is nothing but the transactional data. Okay. So this is one time maintenance. Okay. For this laptop, let's take this particular model. So for this laptop, I am maintaining this data only one time. For each customer, I don't go and maintain multiple times the same details. If we have 1,000 customers, we don't maintain 1,000 times. Only one time we maintain this. So every customer can go and verify the details, and they, if interested, they can go and purchase the particular item. So this one-time maintenance, this is called as master data. And if customer purchases, the customer gets the invoice generated, and customer gets the uh, receipt, and a customer I order would be shipped and delivered. So that is considered as the transactional data. So if there is any error in the billing for the for the particular transaction, there will be an impact only relevant to that transaction, not for all the customers, not for all other transactions. But if there is any issue in the master data, then it impacts all the transactions. So that is the key importance of the master data. So if you take any business, not only the e-commerce, if you take any business in the world, master data plays a crucial role in the organization's success. So we have to be very careful in dealing with the master data because that impacts all levels of business. That is the importance of the master data. Now, how we can maintain the master data in a best way, in a feasible way, and what are the best practices and what are the various advantages, use cases of master data maintenance. So all those things we are going to see in today's session. So coming to SAP, we have various types of data available in SAP. First thing, basis data, organizational data, master data, and transactional data. So what kind of data we can consider as basis data? So we have the resources like memory management, buffer management, and we create the clients. If we take any system, let's say I have a system called MDD. It can have different clients, 100, 200, 300, etc. So 100 can be a development client and 200 can be a unit testing client. 300 can be a functional testing client. It depends on the project and the client. It varies from the customer to customer, the landscape organization, and all those things, client creation, client copies, all are considered as a basis data. And user creation and roles assignment, the team will be different. So all these data will be considered as a basis data. And now coming to the organizational data. So we have the org units, divisions, positions, sales area, distribution channels, etc., etc. And the configurations, SPRO configurations. If we take our any organization, we'll be having the different departments. It may be HR department or IT department or let's say MDG. Any MDG department is there, and data migration team will be there, and a transport team will be there, immigration team will be there, finance team will be there. So each team will be having the different resources. So how to organize all these things? In SAP, we create organized units and divisions, everything. We assign the positions to the resources. So under that, we'll assign the users. So if you take any organization unit, O1, so under that, whatever whoever the users are, they are fall under this organization. So those kind of data will be considered as the organizational data as well as SPRO configurations. If we do some configurations, that configurations can be transported to other systems when we are building the new system. And master data, we have just seen one real-time example. And coming to SAP, we have various types of master data available: material master, customer, supplier, business partner, equipment, function location. All these things, all these are the various types of master data. And we have the transactional data. So once this master data is in place and monitored, successfully created, so then the actual transactions will begin. So purchase orders, sales order, general ledger balances, vendor balances, customer balance, asset values, etc., etc. So much, so many transactional data are there. So I just listed very few in this slide. So not only these are available in SAP, but still there are many. These are just a few examples. And now we'll see more about master data. So especially our SAP R3 architecture, it works on the real-time data. So as soon as we maintain the data in the production, so it is available for the real time. So users can use that one. And this is just what we have discussed so far. So master data, we maintain it is centrally and it will be available for all the applications. Again, that is based on the integration scenarios that we follow in our landscape. And now the most important thing is what are the various challenges we may face while maintaining the master data. While managing the master data, what are the various challenges we may face? Now, let's say our master data has been distributed in various locations. This is our typical landscape. This is just an example. This is not all the times true in all the projects for all the customers. Okay. So the various challenges that we may face in the master data. Again, I don't say that these are the challenges faced by every organization or every customer in real time, but just there is a possibility of having these challenges in managing the master data for any customer. Okay. There is a possibility of the duplicate data since the data has been distributed across the various geography locations, and we may face the incorrect data, just like we have seen the pricing has been not updated correctly. That's considered as incorrect data and incomplete data. So there is a difference between incorrect and incompleteness. Incomplete data is nothing but, so if let's say you are looking for a product in Amazon, okay, you have seen all the features, everything is fine, all good, but when you want to check the warranty is not mentioned there. So obviously we don't prefer to buy that product because we don't know the warranty. So it's not mentioned, so we don't choose that product, we go for either other e-commerce portal or we choose the other product. That is the possibility. And again, let's say warranty is mentioned, just they mentioned 2 years warranty, but they didn't mention whether it is a manufacturer warranty or seller warranty. If it is the seller warranty, again we don't prefer, if it should be the manufacturer warranty. So if those details are not mentioned, that is considered as the incomplete data. So that affects the transactions, you regular transactions. So that is also a challenge of the master data. And insufficient analytics will be caused by the unreliable data. Maybe the data may be incorrectly maintained across different geographies. It's not properly maintained. Let's say if we take a model of laptop T490 i7. So in one location of Amazon site, it's mentioned like uh, i7 fifth generation processor. In some site, it's mentioned as i7 third generation process. So that kind of data is considered as unreliable data. And maintenance cost. So the storage and infrastructure, all these data cleansing cost, everything is considered as the high maintenance cost. So these are the few of the key challenges faced by master data by any organization. And once the master data is uh, facing any challenges in the maintenance, like any incorrectness or any incompleteness or not reliable data has been maintained, so there are the various levels of people in the organization, so it will get affected for all of them. Now, so we have seen so far what are the various challenges of master data, and what is the key importance of the master data. Now we will see how we can overcome those challenges. So that can be overcome by the data governance. Again, still we haven't jumped into the master data governance of SAP. We are just going step by step. So we have seen the master data. Now we are seeing the data governance. What is data governance? That's it. How we can govern the data. So generally, you everyone must be knowing the term government. So what is the government doing? So they govern the people. They impose the rules. They impose the policies. They ask the people to follow that one, so that uh, everyone will be following that particular set of rules or principles. Okay. So likewise, if we will impose some rules on the data, we'll impose some principles. So with that, we are going to govern the data. We are going to govern the master data so that we can maintain some consistency. We can maintain the reliable and accurate data. Okay. What happens with the data governance? So the data governance is the set of quality control disciplines for managing, improving, maintaining, monitoring the data. So it's just a set of principles. And why it is required? So as we discussed it so far, if we govern the data, if we maintain the data properly, if we have the control on the master data with the accuracy and reliability, everything, it gives a beautiful advantages or benefits to the enterprises or organizations. So where the data governance programs are located, it can be anywhere. Based on, it can be department wise, or it can be business unit wise, or it can be organization wise, or wherever it is. It depends on the organization. Okay. When it is required, in simple, when any organization feels that they have lost the control on the master data, and they are facing the huge impacts because of the uh, various challenges of master data, then they can go and govern the data. They can apply some principles, and they can go with the data governance. Just like let's say there are many accidents. So what government will do, they impose a rule, traffic rule. If there is no helmet wear, so there will be a fine of 1,000 rupees, or there will be a temporary suspension of license for 3 months. That kind of rules will be implied. And why do we need it? So it answers all our discussions so far. So we need it to have the accurate data, to have the reliable transactions, to have the proper transactions, and to get the advantages to the organizations in respect of billing or what revenue or whatever it is. And moreover, we need the quality. Master data should be maintained with the good quality. And now we are going into the SAP MDG. So with this, I want to take questions from anyone, since we haven't jumped into SAP MDG so far. We just seen the introduction about master data and what is the governance of data. That's it. Any questions from anyone? Okay. Okay. Let's move on to understand what is SAP master data governance and how it adds value to the master data, and how it adds value to an organization in maintaining the master data. We are going to see all those things. So some introduction, theoretical introduction, some people may get bored, please bear with me. So master data governance enables the business to consolidate and govern the master data. So it can be shared across an enterprise with the different business units. Let's say Amazon has different business units. They have in US, they have in India, they have in Singapore, they have in Middle East. So the master data can be shared among with different business units, or they want to keep specific master data specific to business unit, that can be possible in MDG. So master data varies from industry to industry. When I say master data varies from industry to industry, master data category are universal. Like we have seen in one of the slides, we have various types of master data: material master data, customer, supplier, and finance master data. Like we have the company code, we have the GL account, cost center, profit center. All these things are there. So different businesses need different types of master data, but the available categories of the master data, the available master data in SAP will not vary. We have those master data, but each business can choose their required master data. If we take any real-time projects, let's say we have so and so client, okay, some XYZ client is there. So they want to implement MDG for material master. They don't want to implement for all other masters, but still we have customer master, supplier master, business partner, finance, etc., etc. So all these master data is available in MDG, but they want to choose only material master because they feel only material master is relevant for their business, and they want to govern only the material master data to see the benefits, to see the advantages of the master data governance in their business. And this is just what are the various types of master data available in MDG. We have another beautiful slide going forward. We'll see then. And master data governance provides reusable templates and frameworks. So I don't want to comment on this at the moment because it's uh, very early to comment on this, but just I will give you one idea. So when we govern the custom master data, for example, we have the material, customer, supplier, all these things. Okay. So in finance, also we have so many types of master data. Like say we don't have master data maintenance for uh, any particular domain. So sorry, it's very easy to govern the custom master data. We don't, let's say we don't have the employee governance in MDG available. Okay, customer want to maintain HR data. They want to govern some employee relevant details or employee onboarding data. So MDG framework is flexible enough to extend the standard functionality to the to govern the custom master data as well. Okay, it gives a beautiful framework which is a flexible framework. We can reuse that, and user interfaces also you no need to build from the scratch. There is a reusable template. Just like if you are creating any PowerPoint presentation, you can see the templates provided by Microsoft. So you no need to do from the scratch. You can reuse that and you can customize according to your requirement. In the same way, MDG also got some reusable templates, so we can make use of that. And SAP also supports a partner developer solution extensions. So I will come to on this. Okay. These are the various MDG governance capabilities. When we are seeing the demo in the system, we'll see the various capabilities of the MDG. And now these are the various capabilities at high level. Governance. So the data can be centrally governed using MDG. And the consistent data. So consistency mainly occurs when we have the various systems in our landscape. Just like I have told you one example, Amazon having different business units in different geography locations. If they want to maintain the data across all the units, so they have to maintain the consistency. So that consistency is strongly built in MDG. So that can be achieved. And integration. So it can be tightly integrated across various systems. Uh, if we are implementing MDG for all the units of Amazon across the globe, so we need to integrate all these units into one, and we'll be governing the data in one place, and the data will be integrated or distributed to the connected business units of Amazon. That type of tight integration can be available, and as well as MDG can integrate to non-SAP systems as well. Whether the target system can be SAP or non-SAP, the tight integration is possible. Reuse, just like I have told you, SAP has provided in MDG there's few reusable templates, and the framework is flexible enough to handle any custom applications or custom scenarios. And the data quality, yeah, of course. So with these all features maintained, we can definitely achieve the quality in the data. So how the quality of the data can be controlled and maintained here, If anyone, most of you, I think, aware of maintaining the master data in the backend ECC. So if we go and create any material through MM01 transaction or any customer through XD01 transaction, or in the latest it's a BP business partner. So it's not like let's say I am authorized to maintain some data. I don't want all the data to be maintained. Some other has to come and review the data and approve. Then only that data will be available to the users for their transactions. It's not like that. As soon as we maintain the data, that is real time available. But in MDG, we can control the quality of the data. So I may maintain the wrong data, but we can control the data here and the flexibility. So MDG got a concept called data model. So it got the flexibility. Okay. And MDG framework has the flexibility. We can maintain our custom data model rather the standard data models provided in the framework. Okay. When I say custom data model, it's nothing but we are maintaining our custom master data rather than the standard master data provided. So that flexibility is there in the MDG. Now these are various advantages. It's just a summary of our discussion so far. Now let's move on to various use cases. A small introduction about central governance. So let's say this is our MDG system. Okay. It's integrated with various types of systems, ERP and other SAP and non-SAP solutions. So now the, the data can be maintained in MDG. Not can be, the data will be maintained in MDG. And the master data maintained in MDG can be shared with the connected systems. This is called as central governance. Okay. Once MDG is implemented, MDG is built for the business. So they don't maintain the master data in the connected systems. If they want to maintain any master data, they have to maintain it in MDG and they have to distribute that data from MDG to the connected systems. Okay. Let's say this is Amazon US and this is Amazon India and this is Amazon Singapore and this is Amazon Middle East. Okay. So we have implemented MDG for MDG in Amazon US business unit, and these are various subdivisions or subunits integrated with MDG. So if we are maintaining any master data in Amazon US, that will be distributed to these units. So here this is only for the master data. And these business units are the actual transactional systems. So in Amazon US, we have only the master data maintenance system, and these units are having the actual transactional systems. So for any transaction, we need the master data. So that's why in Amazon with Amazon US system, we are transferring the data to the connected system. So this is the central governance and how we restrict the maintenance of master data in connected system and how we do the governance in practical that we'll see, we'll discuss later. And a consolidation for analytical purposes. So from various source systems, we can consolidate the data and load into the MDG system, and that can be used. And consolidation for initial load. Okay, let's take an example. So these are my legacy systems. Let's say this is SAP, this is Oracle, and This can be Sybase or anything. Okay. So now customer want to build MDG. Customer want to maintain the central governance. Okay. They their current business is spreaded in these systems and they don't have MDG so far. They want to go with the MDG. So now all the master data is spreaded across these units. Okay. So now to maintain this MDG for our business, as per MDG core principle, it should be maintained with the central governance. Okay. When we say central governance, all the master data to be governed centrally. There should not be any master data maintenance in any of the other business systems. Okay. So that means there should not be any master data here. There should not be any master data here. There should not be any master data here. So to maintain the data centrally in the MDG system and distribute to the same systems again, first MDG should contain all the existing master data in its. So as a first uh, step, we'll be loading all the master data from the source systems, legacy systems to MDG. Then here we will govern all the master data loaded and then we'll send it back to the legacy systems so that then they will continue their transactions. So that is considered, that is nothing but the initial load. So initial load is this one. And this comes only after the governance of the master data. And this is the same example that we have taken, mergers and acquisition. So merger is nothing but initially we'll merge all the business units data into one, and acquisition later if any new business unit is being added, so that also can be consolidated into MDG. So further additional steps will be required. So this is about what is MDG and what are the various use cases of MDG advantages. So with this, mostly theoretical portion is completed. So if anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand.
This is Shiva here.
Yeah, Shiva.
Um, in this middle of the your presentation, you mentioned um, the MDG might be only for example, we have master data for material and customer and vendor. But you said there may be MDG only for materials. They may not be do the data governance for customer vendor, for example.
Mhm.
So in that case, will that be not an issue because when they have materials, then there should be customer and vendor also. So you mean to say like they don't have much data to do the governance for customer vendor? That's the reason they are going with only materials.
Yeah, good question. So as you said, definitely there will be data dependency in the transactional system, but the customer don't see the implementing the MDG for all types of master data they have in their business, but they see what adds more value to their business. So they go with that option only. If they see that they want to add more value to material master data and they see more inconsistency in the master data of material in their business, so they can go and implement for material. But again, in middle of the implementation, I'm going into the more reality. Customer signed up for the project and they are going with the material implementation. Okay. So uh, 30 days are passed away. So we are implementing the project. In middle, they feel that they want to govern master data for business partner, customer and supplier also. So they can again take the recontract of the new agreement and they can go with that also. So Coming to MDG point of view, it's up to them. So they can either go with material or customer or supplier or any finance object, whatever it is. So it won't give you any issue. But when it comes to the transactional system, yes, there should be the master data. Am I
Yeah,
answered your question?
yeah, yeah, got it.
Yeah.
And I have another question.
Mhm,
When we have multiple systems, they're maintaining the master data in multiple systems
mhm,
and multiple locations. So MDZ is so the purpose, I think, like they will gather all that information from different sources or different locations,
mhm,
and they will keep it in MDT system, and they will do, as you mentioned, like rules and policies.
mhm.
Once everything is done, again you're saying it will distribute back to the same source again, or those sources they will use MDG as the main uh,
Okay,
MDG
and
as the main source as a master data.
yeah, I understand your question. So initially, while building, while implementing MDG, we get all the data from the source systems and load it into MDG. So we govern all the data. We apply the rules as per your understanding. That is correct. So we apply all the governance rules. Everything is applied. Now master data is cleaned. So we got the quality master data available in MDG. So now, so the source system already have the master data. So there are two ways. Few customers want to clean up their source systems and reload the governed master data, or few
Yeah.
customers
Okay.
want to keep the master data as is in the source
Mhm.
system and they want to load the new master data. It can be replaced. Okay, it depends on the customer choice, and again there are different factors to take the decision on this. It's not that easy decision. So let's say they have cleaned up all the source systems and they want to load the governed data into their systems. So MDG framework has the capability to distinguish what type of master data to be transferred to which system, because MDG itself is single system. We have different materials like for example, sorry, I have material 10, 20, 30. So material 1 is for ERP system, this is for Oracle system, this is for Sybase system. So all these three materials are in MDG only. But how we distinguish, how we distribute these two, only this system, this one and this one. So that MDG framework can take care. Okay. So certain configurations has to be done. So now these data will be loaded or transferred to the respective source systems, and then they will continue with their regular transactions. So MDG will be single source of truth, single source of data maintenance. There won't be any further data maintenance in the source systems again. So these systems can be considered as source while loading the data from during initial load, and these will be considered as the target system while transferring the data back from MDG to the same systems. Their role will be different. I mean, the terminology will be different. Am I answered your question?
Yeah. So yeah, got it.
Any other questions?
Sir, in this case, you told us sir, some clients are clean the data, some clients are keep the data.
Mhm,
Then we transfer to MDG to other systems, source systems.
mhm.
Then it will duplicate na, sir, master data.
Yeah, it will be duplicated. Now, when I say duplicate in the sense, it will be overwritten. It will not
Okay.
duplicate, but
Okay.
overwritten. Again,
Overwrite
as
and
yeah, yeah,
merge
yeah,
the data.
yeah, correct,
Overwrite the data. Okay.
correct, exactly.
Okay.
And as I said, it depends on again different factors. let's say I'm going a bit more technical. So material available number ranges are 1 to 100 in MDG. Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
in MDG system. And in ERP system, material number ranges are available as 1 to 50.
Okay.
So if this is the case, if there are different materials here, let's say 80 material number. So can it be accommodated in ERP? No,
No, no, sir.
because that number is not available.
Okay.
So these number ranges should be in sync.
Okay.
Okay. So these number ranges should be in sync. This is one of the factors. And while overwriting also, in MDG, the number range, if the number ranges are different and in ERP, the number ranges are
But,
different, then
okay.
while overwriting, it may not be correctly mapped.
Yes,
So
sir.
for that, in MDG, we have additional concept called key mapping. So it's a
Okay.
bit advanced topic. Just want to give you information. Let's say here in MDG, we have a material number 50.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And whereas in the source, it is 60.
Okay.
Now, if we simply transfer this one to here, the actual material number will not be overwritten. Some other will be overwritten. Correct?
Mm.
So
Okay.
now what we need to do is we need to map this.
Oh,
So we need to tell to the MDG system saying that in MDG 50 material number is nothing but 60 in the ERP system. So
okay.
that while transferring the data from MDG, system understands, okay, if I am moving a 50 material, when I go to the target system, don't update 50 material, update only 60 material. So
Okay.
likewise, system can understand and override the respective entity only.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So
Okay.
any
Thank you.
other question? Yeah, no problem. Any other questions from anyone?
So once MDS is the process is completed,
Hmm.
so you said like again we'll move the data to the respective sources,
Yes.
and again maybe the master data is like maybe they may start creating new customers or new vendors again. So
Mhm.
the process will continue, like again we'll pull back the data from the source again and we'll double check again. So it is a continuous process, right?
No. So actually there won't be any further master data maintenance after the initial load and transfer the governed data to the target system. So whatever the master data business want to create, they have to create that in MDG only. And one
Okay, yeah, got it.
from there they have to move to the respective systems.
Okay,
Sir,
so
sir.
there won't be any creation in their sources. It will be created in MDZ, then from MDZ it will move to the respective sources.
I cannot say 100% there won't be any maintenance in case if the business want some immediate updates on the master data, because if it comes to MDG, it takes a while to go under certain approvals to have the master data. But if there is any huge impact on the business transactions, they want to have the immediate updation of the master data, there is a possibility they can correct the master data in the target systems directly. But to get the data in sync, they have to come and update the MDG master data governance team, saying that these are the corrections we have made in the source current transactional system for this impact of the business. So you please go and update MDG system with the same changes,
Updates.
so that the both the systems will be in sync. So the drawback, I mean, the impact of not maintaining both the systems in sync is nothing but, let's say currently they have maintained, they have corrected some data in their transactional system. Fine. Somehow they forget to update, or if they update to the MDG team, MDG team might not been corrected that one. Later, after 2 days or 3 days, another user came and update the same master data in MDG. Now, when it moves to the respective transactional system, whatever the business impact changes have been done, that will be overwritten. So that is the main impact if both the systems are not in sync. You got my answer?
So to make it the sync only, we are using this MDG and making all the data to be in use that policies and rules, right?
Not to make it in sync. In fact, that is just one business scenario, real-time scenario I have told you, which is very rarely happens. So mainly to govern the data. So whatever the master data we are creating, that data, whatever the master data creation process we are following so far in our traditional ECC or S4 systems, directly going with the MM01 transaction or customer creation or cost center creation. So many businesses, let's say I'm maintaining some master data. So whoever the user maintaining the master data, they may need some other user from some other department to update certain fields. Okay, and they want some approvals. So that kind of governance can be can be used, we can get that kind of advantages using MDG. So master data can be maintained with a good quality and with good principles, and we can maintain the single consistent master data. Maintaining sync is only one of the use cases.
Okay.
So any other questions?
Sir, we implemented master data system.
Mm-hmm.
We load we initial load to MDG system, sir. After if any end user, any key user created a master data in source system, after implementing, on that case, what will do, sir?
Can you repeat your question? I didn't understand.
Okay. Sir, you have a, you know Telugu, sir?
Yeah, but for the advantage of okay, you can speak in
One
Telugu.
minute.
I can translate it back.
Okay. మన సోర్స్ సిస్టంలో ఉన్న డేటాని ఎంజీజీ సిస్టంలోకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేసుకున్నాం సార్.
Okay.
తర్వాత ఏమవుతుందంటే ఎవరో ఎండ్ యూజర్ వచ్చేసి మళ్ళీ సోర్స్ సిస్టంలోనే క్రియేట్ చేశారు అనుకోండి సార్, కస్టమర్ మాస్టర్ కానీ వెండర్ మాస్టర్ కానీ
Okay.
ఎంటీజీలో చేయకుండా.
Mm-hmm.
అప్పుడు డేటా సోర్స్ సిస్టమ్ నుంచి మళ్ళీ ఎంజీజీ సిస్టమ్కి రిప్లికేట్ అవుతుంది సార్.
Okay. So his question is initially we loaded the data from the source systems to MDG, and later user came and again maintained the data in source system, and what will happen in that case. So as I said earlier, so as soon as we maintain that, we load the data initially and we govern the data in MDG and we transfer the data back to our target systems.
Yes, sir.
To avoid the confusion, I use the term source system itself. When we transfer the data back to source system, immediately security team will restrict the controls or
Okay.
restrict the authorizations to maintain the master data manually in all the source systems. So
Okay.
no one else can go and maintain the master data directly, but only to specific business users the authorizations will be given, for very few, to maintain the data in urgent emergency scenarios,
Okay.
but it will be very rare scenario. So going forward, only the master data will be maintained in MDG system, and from there onwards, it will be uh, handled, transferred to the source systems.
Okay.
So that's why MDG is called a single source of truth.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. So with this, we'll take a 10 minutes of break, and we'll come back on that. We'll have one more hour session after the break. Okay, welcome back after the break. And so far we have seen what is MDG and what are the use cases of MDG. And we have discussed about a couple of real-time scenarios as well for MDG implementation. And now we are going to see what are the various user interfaces available till the latest version in MDG. Okay, so this is one of the user interfaces. NWBC, we call it as NetWeaver Business Client. So here we can see all types of master data governance. And again, we will discuss how we want to control, how we can control these governances. Let's say material department will be different and business partner department will be different and the finance department will be different. So different users are belongs to different departments. So we are not supposed to give authorization for maintaining the master data for every user for all the domains. Only finance users has to maintain the master data for finance uh, domain. They are not supposed to maintain master data for material. So how we can control that one, that we will see. So this is the NetWeaver business client view where we can maintain all the master data. See here we can see various business processes. We can search for any material, existing material in the system. As again, it's not specific to material. In all the domains, you can see the similar kind of functionalities or similar kind of business processes. You can search for a master data. You can create a master data. You can change the master data and you can delete any master data. And if you want to process multiple master data records, you can do that processing of multiple materials. So likewise, you can do from here. And let's say I'm going with the create business process. Okay. And then it will navigate to the specific user interface of the material creation. So that looks like this. So here you can see all the master data relevant to the material. This is floor plan manager view. Don't worry, we will see in the system as well. And in the S4 versions, we got the Fiori applications. So this is how the Fiori applications look like. But again, complete native Fiori applications are not yet been implemented for all the master data. Still, it's in progress. Currently, master data Fiori applications are integrated with NWBC views, FPM views. So when I say integrated, if you look this UI, this is a Fiori UI. Okay, so these are the lean applications. When I say lean applications, all the master data that can be controlled from the traditional FPM view or NWBC view may or may not be available in all the Fiori applications. So only the key master data will be available. So it's this work is still in progress by SAP, and still we can access, we can control the master data from the Fiori application, but it's internally integrated to these views again. Okay, so when you go inside, you can see similar kind of view again. And to give you one more example, uh, let's say you are making some payment. Okay, if you are purchasing some product on Amazon and if you are making some uh, payment, so when you start payment, so it will be sometimes a few websites will navigate you to the merchant's website, like bank website. So they don't have their own payment integration. They don't have their payment channel. They just integrate with the bank partners. So it will navigate you to the bank channel. But still, your source is your triggering point is your e-commerce site only. But when you choose the relevant thing, so it is going to the relevant banker website. Similarly, you will be having the Fiori application, but when you go inside and when you start transacting something, when you start processing something, it will take you to the sorry, it will take you to the NWBC view or floor plan manager view that we will see in the system. So those are the various user interfaces available in MDG. And now we will see what are the various deployment options in MDG, which is the core of MDG. Let's understand this one very clearly. So we have various deployment options: hub deployment, co-deployment. So before discussing about a hub deployment, co-deployment, first let's understand what is the deployment option. So now let's take a scenario. This is my current system. Okay, let's say the current ECC system, transactional system. So now customer want to go for the MDG implementation. Now, so how they want to go with the MDG implementation? They don't know that all. They just come to know about the advantages of going for MDG and how it adds value to their business, how they can govern their master data using MDG. They have seen the advantages of MDG, maybe from the demos by the SAP or any other service providers or service partners like Accenture team or TCS or Deloitte or whatever it is. So now they have chosen, okay, we'll go for the MDG implementation in our business. Now, when they choose, this is the first option they have chosen. Now, they have to implement MDG in their business. So to implement MDG, so what are the various options available? So those are discussed under deployment options. Now, let's take a couple of scenarios. Few customers might be having their business spread across various locations or various plants, and a few might not be having that kind of distribution. They have their own business unit and they want to implement MDG only for a specific business unit. Okay, let me summarize this. XYZ customer want to implement MDG for their single business unit. Okay, business unit 1. And there is a customer ABC. They want to implement MDG for their various business units. So we have the two customers. Now, here, is there any dependency or integrations between the systems? No. But here we have the multiple business systems. So definitely there will be a tight integration and definitely there will be a dependency and definitely there will be multiple sources of master data. So now this customer also can go for MDG implementation. This customer also can go for MDG implementation. But how they want to implement MDG, that may vary. Because that can be decided by choosing the right deployment option. Okay, so we have the two deployment options, hub and co-deployment. And for your information, there is a third one. I am not discussing that at the moment. I will tell you the reason after this concept. Okay. So now, if XYZ want to implement MDG for their business unit, which deployment option they have to choose? If ABC customer want to implement MDG for their multiple business units, which deployment option they have to choose? Simply, how they are going to implement MDG. They are going to implement MDG one-on-one for each business unit, or centrally for all the business units. That defines the deployment option. Let's say if they are implementing MDG for each business unit, then it is considered as the co-deployment option. Okay. And if they want to implement MDG centrally for all the business unit, then that is considered as the hub deployment option. In simple. Okay. So co-deployment option is specific to a particular business unit or specific to a particular system, and hub deployment is nothing but the central system for multiple business units. Is this clear so far for everyone? Still there is a lot to discuss on this, but just a high level idea.
Some little bit confusing.
Yeah, I will come to that again.
Okay.
We have a lot to discuss about this.
Yeah.
So now let's understand in detail. Okay, we have MDG hub architecture and we have co-deployment. This is the landscape, and I will come back to this slide again after discussing this one. Now we will see what is the co-deployment option. Okay, for co-deployment we have the two options again: MDG on ECC, MDG on S/4HANA. We will see one by one. First, we will see MDG on ECC, how the co-deployment works on ECC. Okay. Let's say this is our operational ECC system. So when I say operational ECC, that is the current business system which is currently in use by the business. So they are making the transactions in this system. Okay. And one kind request, when I am discussing about MDG on ECC, don't think about MDG on S4 or don't try to correlate it to hub option or anything. Just focus on what I am discussing. That's it. Okay. So when I say operational ECC, this is the current transactional system by the business. Now, customer want to implement MDG on this system or for the master data of this operational ECC system for this transactional system. So each system will be having all these types of data. Basis data will be there, organization data, master data, transactional data. All these data are available in the current system of the business. Okay, let's say it's Amazon India. So this is specific to India business unit. So customers are doing the transactions, and all the transactions are getting stored into this operational ECC system. Master data also there in this system only, and all the relevant data is available. Now, Amazon want to go for the MDG implementation. So they want to go for MDG implementation only for this unit. I'm repeating, only for this business unit or only for this particular system. They don't want to implement MDG for any other. Now, for this requirement, what they can choose, they have to go with the co-deployment or hub. If there are multiple, we go for hub option. If we have only one system where we need to implement MDG, we will go with the co-deployment option. Simple. So now what we will do, This is operational ECC. In ECC system, we will install MDG component. That's it. To make you more simple, to give you more clarity, let's say I have my laptop. Okay, I want to create office work. So what I can do, in my PC, I can install MS Office. Okay, current OS will not affect, current applications will not affect, current data will not affect, current document in my hard disk will not affect, nothing will impact. Without impacting anything, I am just installing an additional application, MS Office. Or let me give you one more best example. So many times, not these days. Earlier, when we were need of practicing SAP, we used to get VMware installed in our system, like with the second OS, and from there we will be practicing SAP. So that don't impact any our current OS or any our current data or applications or documents or whatever it is. Just on top of the current OS, we are installing the VMware. We are installing the second OS. So with that, we can leverage SAP. We can make practice on SAP system. But nowadays, how we are doing, we are not going with VMware or any second OS installation. We got the remote desktops. Okay, we just get the IP address of remote desktop and we connect to that remote desktop system from our laptop or whatever, from our system with the IP address, and we remotely connect and we just do our work and we log off. That's it. So we are not installing that in our system, but we are leveraging that functionality. Okay, these are the various options available, but the core what we are doing is the same. We are connecting to SAP logon, we are doing our practice, we are creating the same applications, we are creating the same programs, we are doing the same coding, everything is same. But how we are doing the practice and how we are accessing the applications is different. Similarly, when customer have only single business unit, in the current business system only, they will install an additional component called MDG. They purchase the license from SAP for MDG, and basis will come and install MDG component in the current system, so that they got the features of MDG available in the current system itself. Okay, so this is nothing but the co-deployment option. Now, as our operational ECC or our traditional system got various types of master data, basis, organization data, master data, transactional data. When as soon as we install MDG component on our system, we get two types of data: inactive data, active data. I will come to this in some time. Just for now, let's just keep your understanding like there is two types of data in MDG: inactive data and active data. That's it. This is operational ECC with MDG component installed. This is the option 1 of co-deployment. Okay, and we have another option. Let's say our operational system is not ECC, it's a S4 system, HANA system. Now, in S4, we no need to install any MDG component separately. It's an inbuilt component. S4 HANA comes with MDG component all pre-installed. Customer no need to purchase any additional license for installing MDG component on their operational systems if they are using S4 HANA system for their business transactions. they can directly go with the MDG implementation. But again, for implementation, it costs. They need to pay something. Just the component is there, just like you have installed the Office, but Office is there. But if you want to use the features, you need to purchase the license. Okay, you got the Office with your laptop. Similarly, MDG component is there. But again, if you want to leverage the features, again, you need to pay something to SAP, and that may not be as much as the cost you are purchasing the new component itself. It will be less. And for implementation partner, we need to pay something to implement MDG in the current box. Okay, again, the data can be shared. This will come back again. So this is about the code deployment option. In code deployment, we have two types of options. We can implement MDG on the traditional ECC system or S4HANA system. So is this clear for everyone?
Sorry. Code deployment option means within the system we are using the MDG.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So now coming to inactive data and active data. So here MDG got two types of storage areas. Okay. One is staging and active area. Okay. So what is the staging area and what is active area? Staging area is nothing but it contains an inactive data. So that means, to give you an example, let's say I have MDG system. Okay, I am creating a material. Okay, let's say material 10. Okay. When I am creating this material, as per MDG, it will not directly go and update in the, let's say we have the backend ECC. As soon as I create, it will not directly go and update in ECC. It will go to the approvals. We have another level of approval to be done. So this person has to validate this data and he has to approve. Maybe if business want another approval to be in place, okay, so this user also will come and approve this master data. So once this final approval is done, then the data will be updated in the ECC system. So then only this data is available for the end users for their transactions. So this is how MDG works. So till this point of time, where is our data? Only in MDG. And after this activation, where is our data? In our transactional system. Okay. So till this point of time, if we want to keep this data in the system, definitely we need some storage. But okay, we cannot store it on the fly. There should be some storage to save this data temporarily till the final activation. So that storage is called as staging area in MDG. Okay, storage areas in MDG, it's nothing but the staging area. So, and the data which is available till the final activation is called as inactive data. And the data available after the final approval is called as active data. So we have two types of data, inactive data, active data. We will see more about this inactive data and active data in the system directly, how the inactive data looks like, and where exactly the staging area in MDG. Where can we find that staging area? We can directly see the data in the staging area of MDG. I will show you that one as well. And where can we see the active data? That also we can see. But for your understanding at the moment, inactive data is nothing but the data which is pending for the final approval and not ready to be used by the business transactions. Active data is nothing but which can be readily available by the business transactions. So now coming back to our slide here, in MDG we have the two types of data, active data and inactive data. This is active and inactive. Okay, so if we install MDG on our operational system, so this data can be shared by this staging area. I keeping it as staging area, and staging area data can be accessed by these components, vice versa. If it is on ECC or on S4HANA, to make it simple, co-deployment option directly can be shared between. Similarly in S4 as well. So is this difference clear for everyone? And have you understood what is inactive data and what is active data at high level at least?
Inactive data stored in staging area, active data stored in active area. That's also.
Yeah, for now you can keep that understanding. Inactive data stores in staging area and active data stores in active area. But staging area can contain active data as well, but that is a different concept. For now, I don't want to confuse you more on that.
Okay.
When I show you in the system, you will understand in a better picture.
Okay.
So the active and inactive is both, it's the same concept in both S4HANA and ECC, or is there any difference?
There is no difference. Both are same. Even if you are implementing MDG also, you don't see any difference in the implementation process in ECC or S4 also. Only the thing is
S4 might be a little faster, right? Or
yeah, definitely it is not little more faster
yeah.
compared to ECC. So that is one advantage. And second thing, installation point of view, this is the core difference. Pre-installed component will be available in S4. And coming to the features, mainly Fury is not available in ECC. Fury applications are available only on S4. That is one more difference. And we have functionality wise difference. Like if you take business partner contract data, something like that is not available on ECC, but is available on S4. So likewise, we have some functional relevant differences also. We have another session on that to discuss more. But to make you more clear, when we are implementing MDG or when we are learning any concepts in MDG, so there are no differences whether you are learning on ECC or S4. They are same, pretty much same, almost.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Sir, you told third option is there, sir, deployment. What is
Yeah,
that third option? Only you told hub deployment and co-deployment.
yeah, I'll come to that. I'll come to that. We'll discuss in a while.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions from anyone? Okay. So now we'll move on to the Next option, hub option. Let's say I have my operational ECC or S4 can be. Somehow I'm not able to edit that one. Okay, I will update this slide later. It can be operational ECC or S4, our transactional system. It got all this data available in the system: basis data, organization data, transaction, and master data. Now, client want to implement MDG on different system. Okay, they want to go with the hub option because they have the multiple business units. They have to maintain the master data centrally in different system, not on the transactional system. I'm just making a statement. They want to implement MDG as a separate box, not on the not on any of the transactional systems. It's a separate system itself. Okay. Now, on the separate system, they can go with the MDG component install. So I will update this slide later. So it can be, if it is MDG on S4, component will be pre-installed. You just visualize in that way. Okay. So they got the MDG system and MDG component is installed. And while building the new MDG system, they need certain data, basis data that can be transported from current transactional system to MDG optionally, or they can create their own data manually in the new MDG system, as well as the organization data, as well as the master data. It's the initial load of the master data. And assume that there can be multiple transactional systems as the source. Okay. So now with MDG component, as you are aware, we'll get the inactive data and active data, which is nothing but the staging area. This data can be shared in between. This data can be shared across. Now, what is the core difference between co-deployment and hub scenario? So in co-deployment, in our current on top of our transactional system itself, we are building the we are installing MDG component. But in hub scenario, we are not going to install any MDG, or we are not going to implement MDG on our transactional systems. We have the separate MDG box where we maintain all the master data. If you notice, there is no transactional data here. So transactional data is here. That's why it is the transactional system. Here it is responsible only for maintaining the master data. So this is not accessible by the end users to maintain their transactions, to have their transactions. This is only for maintaining the master data. So once the master data is maintained in MDG, that will be replicated to the transactional system. There are various ways to replicate that we can see later, but using any of these methods, the master data governed in the MDG system has been replicated to the transactional system. So these transactional system can be one or many. Mostly if they are going for a hub mode, so it will be more than one, definitely. So this is what the hub scenario. So is it clear for everyone? The core difference between hub and co-deployment?
So this hub option, is it mainly to like reduce the system capacity, or like and some privacy to that transaction data? Is that the main reason, or is there any
No,
different?
no, no. That is not the main reason. The main reason is When customer have multiple plans for their business, let's say we have oil and gas client. So oil and gas client has different plans. Let's say if we take Reliance Oil and Gas have different plants in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and in Andhra, some places. So they want to maintain the master data centrally for oil and gas business. Okay, they don't want to maintain master data separately for each and plant. They want to have the central system. They have the central MDG system implemented, and they will be connecting all the plants across the country, across their business to this central system. So that is one of the use cases where client can go with the hub option. Okay, and if they want to govern the data, and if they notice that only the data has been inconsistent across only single plant, and they identify that that data is cannot be shared by other business units, then they can go with the co-deployment option. But when we go with the hub option, the cost will be high. The implementation cost will be high, because here if you see, we are building a new system itself. So again, they need to build a new system. They need to go with the new infrastructure, and they need to purchase all the RAM or every component. They have to build a new server itself. So that cost is high, and the integration cost is there, and initial loads will be there, data loads. They have to take that into the consideration while building the new MDG system. So all those are the various factors, and they want to maintain the central data. Okay, so in that case, they go with the hub option.
In the previous also, we are installing this MDZ and ECC, but
Yeah,
in the S4HANA, we are automatically getting, but in the ECC, we are installing that MDZ, right? So
yeah,
here also, we are separately maintaining MDZ. Then,
yeah.
from,
Unfortunately, this slide has not been updated, so it can be MDG on ECC or MDG on S4 also. You just is visualize in that. It can be anything. If it is on MDG and S4, we no need to install any MDG component. It is pre-installed.
and the example you mentioned about the hub option mainly used for the GE oil and gas, they want to have separate system. And so that means they don't want to share this master data with, for example, GE, we have multiple business units like iron and gas and healthcare and we have aerospace.
Mhm.
So they don't want to share this master data with all these three different, for example.
Yeah,
So then only they, if they want to go separately, then only they will go with this option. That's what you mean to say, right?
yeah. Practically, oil and gas master data will be different, and other business units, whatever you said,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah.
those will be different. So definitely, there will not be any common master data to be shared across. In that case, they have to either go with the co-deployment option. If again, if they have the oil and gas and it is located in only single plant or single location, so again they don't need to go with the hub option.
Hub option. Okay.
They can choose the co-deployment directly. If they have the business spreaded in multiple locations, and each geographical location or each plant will be having a different master data maintained, again to centrally govern all the master data, they can go with the hub option. That is another business case. Am I answered your question?
Yeah, got it.
Any other questions from anyone?
So in in hub option, data replicated via IDAG or RFC SOA file. In
Yeah.
co-deployment option, data how replicated, sir?
So in co-deployment option, very good question. So we don't need to replicate anything,
Okay.
because on transactional date system itself, we are building the MDG.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then where can we replicate our data? So there is no need of that one. The
Okay.
transactional system itself has the master data available internally, so it can be directly shared by the business users.
Okay.
So any other questions from anyone? Is that clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I'm coming back to this slide. So this is the high level picture about whatever we have discussed, hub and co-deployment. Okay. So this is our hub. It is distributed to multiple operational systems. And this is our co-deployment. MDG is co-deployed on the operational system. And as I said, there is a third option, cloud option. So this was announced by SAP only in the last week. It is still not released to any customer. It takes some time to release that one. So in fact, I haven't got a chance to go through in detail to understand what is cloud option and how it works. I don't want to give you any false information, but definitely I go through the cloud option and try to understand insights of that, and will give you a brief about that in soon. Okay. So those are the three options. Only co-deployment and hub options are released for the customers. This cloud option is not yet released for any customer. It's still in progress. They are in the testing phase, it seems. So that's all about today's demo session. So any questions you have, you can ask. After the question and answers, I will be going through the course summary and further details.
Like on-prem S/4HANA on-premises cloud likeness at this cloud option.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't have much clarity on this one due to the project, my project deliverables and assignments. I didn't get time to go through this one completely.
Okay, okay,
Once I go through this, I will definitely give you a session on this.
okay.
Any other questions from anyone?
In MDG,
Mhm.
like two types of consultant is there, no, sir. One is the technical and one is the functional.
I'll come to that for
Okay,
later. For
okay,
now, we will just take the questions on the concepts we discussed.
okay, okay,
General questions, we'll take it up at the end of the session.
okay.
But in
Um,
hub
uh,
model, how the separate business tool communicate through hub only, no? Correct?
So someone is asking question. I cannot clearly hear your voice.
Yeah, in hub model, in hub architecture, how the separate business unit will communicate through hub only, no? Correct?
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone?
so once the MDG, is it like a continuous process, or is it like once we are done with one set of data, then we are done with MDG system? So
So
our work will be done, or
it's
will
not
be,
like a continuous process.
okay,
So it will be one-time maintenance, and once the project is implemented and it went live, so there will be hypercare period for depends on the customer license agreement. It can be 2 weeks or 1 month, or based on their business criticality also. We'll be
okay,
giving the end user training, and once the users are habituated to this MDG environment and they see, okay, all the master data has been consistently maintained and everything, we'll give the internal training to their consultants. So then, yes, that's done.
okay,
And later, if they want to implement new features or new rules or anything, then again, we'll get an add-on project on that.
okay.
But the data maintenance is continuous process, but not the
Yeah,
implementation.
yes, yes.
Any other questions? Okay, so with that, I will take you through the course curriculum and course process. So this is our course agenda. Okay, so the total duration will be around 50 to 55 hours approximately, and it is going to be a weekend batch, Saturday and Sunday. Starts from 7 to 9:30 a.m. IST, and for practice, we'll be giving 2 months of S4 HANA MDG on S4 server access. Let's say if course is extended for 10 days or 15 days beyond 2 months, again, as soon as you are with us, we'll be providing the server access, but mostly it won't go beyond 50 to 55 hours. And we'll be giving you the real-time scenarios, and we'll provide you the study materials. Assignments will be there, and we'll be conducting the mock interviews in between, and we'll assist you in the preparing your resume as well, and we'll provide the recorded sessions. And if you anyone want to go as a technical, they need to have the ABAP programming skill. And again, complete ABAP is not required. The core ABAP and object oriented ABAP enhancements, IDOCs, and basic understanding of either WebDev or FPM is required. So if you don't have any of these skills, IDOCs and WebDev Pro FPM, I will be going through the introduction about giving you some idea about IDOCs and these two concepts, but I will not take any additional sessions on OO, ABAP or enhancement. If you want to go through, we can have that recordings available again. And this is how we are, what we are discussing in the unit 1. So most of this we already discussed today till MDG storage areas we have covered, and this will give an insight about MDG. And we'll see what are the baseline configurations to be done in MDG. Again, since we will not get a fresh system to do all the configurations. We cannot configure everything manually in the system, but I will show you what to configure and how to configure. Okay, and we'll see data modeling concept. This is nothing but the core concept of MDG, how we model our master data. And we have something called service mapping tool. When we are talking about MDG staging area, active area, how the data will be mapped from staging area to active area, those will be discussed here. And data quality and check, how we can maintain the quality of the data, how we can search the existing data, how we can validate the data, that will be discussed here. And user interfaces, what are the various user interfaces available and how we are going to extend the user interfaces. So all will be discussed here. And process modeling, how we can govern the processes, MDG process, how we can build the workflow, MDG workflows. So this is again heart of the MDG. This is the core MDG principle.
Process modeling, sir.
Yeah, process modeling. So again, whatever the topics I am showing you, whatever the units I am showing you, those are, I cannot say those are specific to technical consultant or specific to functional consultant, because MDG itself is a techno-functional model. Few
Okay.
areas are specific to technical consultant, few are for functional. But
Mm-hmm.
whoever functionals are there, I can give you a suggestion. When there are technical areas are coming up where the technical consultant involvement is required, I will definitely tell you. Then you don't get scared or you don't get diverted from that. I request you to understand that, just
Okay.
understand what's happening. That's it. Because
Okay.
in real time you will get some idea in the backend how it is behaving. It's better to understand how it behaves in the backend. That is where technical consultant involvement is required. And the data replication framework, when we are talking about the hub architecture, this plays a crucial role. Data replication, it's not applicable for the code deployment.
Okay.
How we replicate the data from our MDG system to target system. And data
Okay.
import framework, when we are loading the data from the sources, this is one of the options to load the data. And the last but not the least, enriching MDG standard core or features to users requirement. So this is more into customizing the standard application as per the client requirement. Okay. So these are all we are going to discuss in our MDG course. And coming to the platform that we are using. So we'll be using the Google Classroom platform. So this is your login will be like this. Once you log into Google Classroom with your Gmail account, so you will see this tile here. Okay, you just click on this course. You'll be taking you to this one. So in the home page, you can see if there are any announcements or any uh, changes happen to this module. And under the classwork, you can see all your assignments. There will be some offline quizzes also provided by me in the form of Google Forms, and we'll update the study materials. Session recordings will be available. So if you go to the assignments, okay, so you can see, so assignments may be in the form of presentations or in the form of Google Forms or anything will be there. If you want to take any quizzes, so you can see these forms will be there. You can provide your answers and submit. There will be some grades available for each question. And if you want to see any study materials, you can see the study materials available here. Okay. And the session recordings, you can see the recorded sessions. So you can see the recorded sessions from here. And if you want to check the calendar to join the session, go to all topics and you can click on Google Calendar. Go to the respective date. There you can see the link here. Just click on the join the meeting. If you click on for tomorrow's, you can see tomorrow's link available here. So this is the platform that we are going to use during our course, and these sections will be keep updating as an on a ad hoc basis. So this is about our course. So now it's up to I'm giving. I want to take the question and answers from you about the course or anything what you want to discuss.
Sorry, the master data governance or financial, master data governance, business partner, supplier, customer, asset accounting. Uh, these are also important.
Yeah, so if you take any master data for material or customer, the implementation approach will be same.
Okay.
Only a little changes will be there. Only the thing is you need to understand how that master data has been built. That's it.
Okay.
So if you want me to take there, so these are the various master data available. If you
Okay.
take only the thing is material has these many data items and finance has these data items, supplier, customer, all these are different. But our core principles,
Process. Is,
yeah, data model. So how we
yeah.
create the data model, how we enhance the data model, what are the various types of entities, what are the various relationships. That is, there won't be any difference in this for any master data. It is common across.
Okay.
If you are implementing SMT, that is also common for any master data. Only thing is, here the functional consultants plays a crucial role. Functional
Okay.
consultants must understand how this behaves. They must
Okay.
be having the core background. Let's say we have a functional consultant. They must be
Okay.
having clear and very uh, beautiful understanding of how material master data works in the SAP.
Okay.
So they can just correlate those experience into MDG. The
Okay.
UI will be different, the look and feel will be different. That's it. But the core principle of data mostly will be same.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone?
In our training, we are due to practical session also, no, sir. Like you are creating one company code or like.
No, yeah, we can create the data in MDG.
Okay.
We'll show you that.
Like for example, in SAP FICO, they are creating enterprise structure like a company code, chart of accounts, account groups. Like here also we are creating like.
The reference, we are not going to create any reference data. We just see how to create the master data
Okay. In MDG system.
in MDG. Yes. Again, in MDG, we don't create reference data.
No, not
In the
reference data. I'm for example.
yeah, I got your question. Yeah.
Uh,
We'll see how to create the master data. We'll see in the practical. So we
okay.
have the system demo here.
Okay.
We'll see the demo in the system as
Venkat, when can we expect the sandbox access?
well. Frankly, as soon as you make the payment.
Okay, so I have completed the payment. So do I need to
So
contact
you
someone else?
are Pushkar, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can talk to your institute. And for as per my understanding, so currently you don't need any server access to go through these topics. Up to some extent, we will be discussing only the theoretical portion. So once we start data modeling, as per my suggestion, from unit 3 onwards, you need the system access. Because why I am suggesting is MDG server is very expensive, and it's very difficult to get the reliable server in the market. Even from my previous experience, I have taken a server from multiple vendors, so very few are reliable. So that's why I would suggest to use it as and when needed only. I mean, once we take the server, yes, we need to use it for continuously. But once we start unit 3, it's better to we can take the server from this time. Anyways, I will be providing the server. I'm just telling, even though you have the server access till unit 3, you don't have a chance to explore.
Got it. Okay.
That's my suggestion. So you can get more time to practice if you take the server only when needed. I mean, at least the start date. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So any other questions from anyone?
And so, what are the different job profiles? I mean, we have in this MDG.
Yeah, good question. So we have MDG technical consultant, functional consultant, techno-functional consultant, business analyst, solution architect, MDG manager. So for functional consultant and business analyst and solution architect roles, one should have the core background, core business background. I mean,
Background
core
FI.
ECC, MMR, FICO, or core functionality should be there in their curriculum.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any ECC knowledge required? MMR, SDR, FICO.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Because they
Okay.
are the ones who are going to face the client directly, and they will take the requirements, and they have to give the suggestions to the client how the master data can behave in the system. Because technical consultant, as you know, they are not going to face the client in the requirement gathering or any phases. So either the business analyst or functional or solution architect, they are going to conduct the workshops or participate there or get the requirement from the clients, and they discuss with the client and give the suggestions on the implement approaches or whatnot, everything.
Sir, actually, I am an end user of SAP SD, sir. I know very well the SAP master data, customer master data.
Oh,
Right.
great. So then it's a very good value add for you.
Uh, I am suitable for a functional consultant, MDG consultant.
Yeah, again, as I said, so you just assess yourself. So if you are very much familiar with the core functionality of master data and everything, yes, you are very much suitable for this.
Yeah. But I don't. I have zero knowledge of this above things.
Yeah, that's what as in when ABAP relevant areas are coming up in our discussion, you no need to practice on the system. You just try to understand at high level at least how it is behaving. Let's say, let me give you one example. I want to implement a validation rule. Okay,
Okay.
I have a requirement. Client don't want to have material types of rather than finished goods, semi-finished goods, and raw material. They want to allow only these material
Okay.
types to be processed in the MDG system. So this is the
Okay.
business requirement. Now,
Okay.
coming to the implementation, ABAP consultant is involved. So
Okay.
you no need to understand how we are writing the code. You just need to understand how we are implementing. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Then you can get a good chance to expose in front of customer, saying that okay, we can
Yeah.
implement this one. You don't need to explain customer in detail, like we go to this body and we implement this, or we implement this rule so and so, like that. We can just say that okay, this is
Okay.
possible, we can implement some custom logic for this, likewise.
Okay. Okay.
Any
So
other
Sunil,
questions?
Sunil, do we need to have class code in order to go into classroom.google.com where you
You no
showed
need
us all
to
the
you no need to have any class code. So as soon as your enrollment is completed, I will add you to this batch. You will get an invite in your email box. You just need to click on that link and accept the invitation. That's it.
But this link is valid for internet.
Yeah, this will be valid unless I remove you from this batch. I'm not
Okay.
going to remove you. At least
Okay.
for 1 year, I can assure you assure you will be in this batch, because the Google Drive space will be less limited for recordings and all. So that's why at least for 1 year I will keep this active.
Uh, Here in the material downloading option is there, sir.
Yeah,
After the
you can download all the materials except the videos.
okay. Okay.
Everything
Okay.
you can download.
Yeah, that's if after 1 year you remove this one, where we get the material?
You can download all the materials, assignments, quizzes.
Okay.
You can attach your assignment documentation. I will be giving you this is not the exact assignment. I will give
Okay.
you the assignment, so you complete your assignment and you can upload your document here. I will validate and provide my comments here. You can add
Okay.
the comments here. You have an option here.
Okay. Okay.
You can upload whatever you want.
Okay.
If you click on this assignment, you will take you
Yeah.
through that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is from my
Uh,
previous batch. We got these assignments.
Okay.
Okay. Likewise, we will be giving you the assignment here.
Okay.
And these are the study materials will be provided. And these are the
oh,
various presentations.
Okay.
And these are the recorded sessions. Anyways, I will
Okay.
not be giving you in this way. But like this, we'll be having all the recorded sessions.
Okay.
So this will be our agenda, which is how I will update this document also. So day-wise,
Mhm.
what are the topics we have discussed, so that you can easily navigate you to the respective sessions.
Okay.
The previous batch, it took around 55 days.
Okay.
Venkat, regarding this, hello,
Yeah, go ahead.
uh, do we require to know the smart forms on SAP scripts
No, not required.
like class apps application? Only ABAP will require is suffice or
Yeah, smart forms, scripts, all those are not required. Module pool,
not required?
nothing is
Model
required.
pool. Okay.
Any other questions from anyone? Okay, then with this, I will wind up today's session and I will have a discussion one-on-one to confirm the enrollment and everything. Thank you.
Okay.